Good afternoon, anglers. Thank you for joining us today here in far Texas. This is Anglers 48. What's in store for today in this video? I'm going to be talking about some of the lures, some of the baits that I use when I'm out in the water. Now, for the most part, when you see Anglers 48, you see me using a popping cork. Not all the time do you see me using artificial on a popping cork. Mostly, if I'm using a popping cork, it's because I have live shrimp on it. Very few times I may have dead shrimp off the popping cork. Now, in the video that I saw Mr. RGV off the hook, I saw him use this popping cork, this same type of popping cork, and he was using a DOA as the bait, soft plastic. Now, very similar. I tried to do that in my last fishing trip this past Monday, and it didn't work out so well. I didn't use a DOA shrimp. What I was using is some of the shrimp that I have here. Now, I'm going to talk about the different lures that I have here on the table. Some of these lures have worked for me, some of them have not worked for me, but I continue to use them. Now I have soft plastics and I have some hard baits over here. Now, this plastic right here, this is a AM lure, okay, and it's a chartreuse curly tail. This is one that I use quite often. I would use it a whole lot when I would be at ARROYO City. I did have some luck at ARROYO City with it, but most of the luck I had here in Port Mansfield. It's got that garlicky smell to it. On one of my fishing trips, I did leave it out. I had it hooked up to one of my rods, ready to go fishing, and when I got in the truck in the morning to head out, the whole truck smelled like garlic. After the fishing trip, I unloaded everything and I could still smell the garlic, so very potent. Not a whole lot of success on my recent trips on this one right here. I love using it. Once again, not a whole lot of hits here in Port Mansfield as of late. Now, this is an AM lure. Now, we're looking at purple with red spots. Had some success at Arroyo. Okay, not a whole lot of success in Port Mansfield, Texas. Also, chartreuse curly tail. I love throwing this type of lure. Once again, the same thing, smells like garlic, got that garlicky smell. And from what I've heard, fish love garlic, that garlic scent. Now the next lure here that I have, this is the Padre Island paddle tail. Okay, it's like a beige color with pink curly tail. Now this one right here, it was a gift from Brownsville Bait and Tackle. Okay, if you're familiar with 511, Highway 511, when you want to go to Port Isabel, there's a bait shop there. The owner, I believe, I don't want to chop up his name. Very nice guy. He gave it to me. I used it on that fishing trip but then I was fishing from the surf. Didn't have any luck there, but I have had plenty of luck in Port Mansfield with this one. Out of the AM lures, the Padre Island paddle tail, I've had more success with it. I didn't have any success with this one at Arroyo City though. Okay, but this is a perfect trout lure. Okay, the Padre Island paddle tail. And if you guys are gonna go fish at the island, or if you're gonna go fish on Highway 48, Puente de los Lobos, or Gaiman's Bridge, I would recommend you stop by his shop. It's right off 511, several blocks from Highway 48. Okay, it's a little plaza. He sells live shrimp. He has some nice lures. If you're interested in different types of fishing line, he's got those different colored lines. I've seen RX Angler with that line. A little pricey, but look for him. Okay. The next lure that I use it's gonna be this one. I love this one right here. It's got a nice chartreuse tail, curly tail. I love using that in Port Mansfield. With this one, I've had success catching reds and catching flounder with this one right here. In fact, I haven't caught anything, I believe, on the kayak, but when I would wait fish on the north side along the shore, I would have some nice success with this one. Very nice right here. And this one, I don't recall the name of this one right here, but it's not a name lure. You may find it at Academy. It's black with gold sprinkles on it. Now, moving on, this other one right here, I saw something similar to this one when I was watching RX Angler, and I went ahead and bought it. I don't believe it, I could be wrong. It may be those Guggen baits, okay? But it's a paddle tail, chartreuse curly tail. I tried it when I was in Arroyo City, close to the Y, on the kayak. I tried it and I landed a red with this one. Okay, that was the only fish that I caught that day, but it was with this one right here. I haven't had any success at Port Mansfield with this one right here, but it swims really nice, really, really nice. Now, the only thing is, I believe I would need a longer, one of those jig heads that's a little longer, the hook is a little longer, because when this thing is swimming and the trout or the game fish come, they're gonna miss that hook big time. Okay, and I've failed a couple of thumps. So if they're getting it kind of short, you're missing the fish. So I do believe that some of those thumps were fish, but they were short striking it. Now I'm thinking that they do sell the longer shank, that hook shank. Okay, so some success. In Port Mansfield, no fish caught with this one. One red caught at Arroyo City. Okay. Now, I do have some artificials on this side over here. These are some artificials that I purchased that I don't really use a whole lot. I haven't had any success with them. I'm going to start with this one right here. Sorry about that, folks. That's my younger son, Angel. It happens. I have that door behind me. So please excuse that. This one right here is the voodoo shrimp. I've bought 2 packs in different times, and this is what happens to it. Okay, if you have bought voodoo shrimp, that's what happens to it. It shrivels up. Okay, whatever material it's made out of, don't leave it in the sun. I don't leave it in the sun. I have it right here. But even with the heat that's in here, it's enough, I believe, to cause it to shrivel. Okay, I have, when it was good and all, I didn't have any success. I used it just the way it is, and I would put it on the popping cork and nothing. A lot of us, once again, we are familiar with that voodoo shrimp. It's very expensive. It's about $8 or $9 for 2. So no success on the voodoo shrimp. Okay, and it's no good. I was considering trying to use it on Monday, but no, didn't make any sense for me to use. Now here, this is a down south. Okay, so it's pink with gold sprinkles. Okay, white paddle tail. This one, I've had some other down south, but I kind of like the color of this one right here. But no success. I haven't caught any fish off of this down south. Okay. Once again, very similar, very, very similar to this paddle tail. If I get a strike, they're gonna go for the bite, and where's the hook? Now I do understand. I hear, and many people have said this, that when the fish bite, they want to go head first. Okay, so but when they're in a trailing position, right? That's where you get the thumps, right? And that's where when you really reel your bait out, sometimes, at least for me, I've noticed that I don't have a tail that it's missing, because they were trying to hit it, but they're all this is in their mouth. There's no hook here. Okay, so no success on the down south here. Now this is an interesting one right here. Okay, that's an interesting one, and let me tell you about it. Give me a second. Like the video said, the fish aren't biting today. Okay, so I'm gonna get drunk as a skunk. No, I'm not gonna do that. I didn't do that. But it is nice out. It's warm, and I do have a little beverage here. But I'm someone that likes to be, how should I say, like some of my followers, they're like, hey, keep going, man. Don't let the fact that it wasn't biting get to you. And, but I do indulge every once in a while for thirst, just to relax a little bit. So now let's continue. This is a curly tail. I've mentioned it before. This is the Jerry's. Okay. I haven't seen this person, but he somebody I knew, and he went ahead and gave it to me, and he actually makes them. You may find them at 7 Day Addiction. That's where I bought it. They may still be there. They're not at Academy. They're not at the bait shops in Port Mansfield, because I looked for them. It's called the Jerry's. All right. It's a super Lex curly tail. Supposedly he indicated His name is Jerry. He said that it was really good. I tried it a couple of times. I haven't gotten any hits, you know. Maybe one, I think. I think I caught a trout with it. Okay, I'm backtracking here. I think I do remember catching one trout. But this is the Jerry's. You may find them at 7 Day Addiction. Okay. Along with the AM lures. If you're looking for AM lures, 7 Day Addiction, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're located in McAllen. Okay. Now, the next one is this one right here. I thought that this lure here looked pretty cool. Okay. It's beige to clear. And I've seen some fish during the nighttime, during the light, and maybe they're like a mullet species or a ribbon fish, something in that realm. Okay, I'm sure you've seen them. If you fished overnight, if you feel and you've looked into the light and you see some fish that are thin that look like this, I actually love this one. This is about the second time that I take it out. I haven't had any success with it, but just because I didn't have success in catching fish doesn't mean that it's not a good lure. You know, maybe the fish weren't there at that time when I was using them, because on this last trip, that's what I was using. I didn't take live shrimp. I was able to catch some mullet with my cast net. So, would shrimp have been a factor? Maybe. We won't know. Now, the anglers that were there, the ones you saw in that video, they were catching pinfish. So, and I had just gone through there. Because I went around them. I was behind them, I was right next to them, and then I was in front of them. Excuse me, so I was in that area, in that general area, with no hits, no signs, no catfish, nothing. So these are some of the soft plastics. Now, before I got into kayaking, I would use this color a whole lot. Okay, the red with sprinkles, this one. Okay, and I would use it there inside the park in Port Mansfield, in the water. Again, no kayak. I would just be casting. I would see some action in the water. I would see bait fish, and I would try to, back then when I was, a little younger and more mobile, I would have a lot of success. I bought some of these, not quite a ways back when I started kayaking, and I didn't have the same success. But this is one that I do have in the arsenal. I haven't had any success with it lately. Now, we do have here some Topwaters. Okay, these are some that I have in my arsenal. I've used them. Okay, I haven't had any success with them lately. Within the last couple of months, I haven't had any success. I haven't seen any fish try to go for them either. I believe I've only caught one trout, and that was when I had my Old Town Vapor, and I was fishing inside the park at Port Mansfield. And I believe I may have caught it with this one right here. Okay, but I am testimony that it does work. I was fishing one time on the south side of Port Mansfield. There were some anglers on a kayak, and I saw them kind of like landing something, and they later informed me that They caught it off of Topwater. Okay? So, some people go fishing and they do very well. Others, they go and not a bite. Others go and it's just undersized, and that's the sport. And we have to remember that. That's why sometimes I'll tell the viewers, it's not all about catching. It's more of having fun. It's more of just getting out there, being one with nature. A lot of the times we're being cooped up in here. We go to work and we come back. Sometimes I don't go anywhere. I can't go fishing. What do? I'm out in the yard. I'm tidying up the kayak. I started greasing up some of my reels after the videos that I made. I start watching some of the other videos, and I'm looking at how is that fisherman doing it? How is he, I'm watching, I'm trying to learn. We're continuing to see different things. Sometimes I've said to myself, sometimes the best fishermen are children. Really. I'm sure you guys have experienced it. Where you have your little one going fishing with you. And you have grandpa, and you have dad, and mom, and who's the one that catches? The little one. The little one is there with the fish. Because they don't know any better. They're doing it the right way. We're over here. We're trying to do this and do that. We're doing it maybe incorrectly. But the little one ends up getting the prize fish. So, good for them. So, I've caught myself looking at children fish. And I'm like, how is that? How's he reeling it in? How is he double twitching it? Is he bouncing it off on the bottom? So, it doesn't hurt to look at how somebody else is doing it. Okay. Now, once again, when I go fishing, as of late, this is the fishing reel that I have been using. Okay, I take several that I cast out and leave there. But there's one that I like to play with. And this is it right here. I try to put it in the description, what posts I'm using, what baits I'm using. This is a Fluger spinning reel. It's a Fluger okay. Let's see. It's a Fluger GR, okay? 12-pound test line, super smooth, and these are designed for saltwater. Super smooth. Doesn't matter how heavy the fish is, you're gonna reel it in really nicely. You're gonna enjoy. Now, this rod is a Daiwa rod. It's a 7-foot rod. Okay. And let me put it closer. That's a Fluger reel, and that's a Daiwa rod. You're gonna notice these rods by the they're black and burgundy, and it's got that Daiwa their mark right there, Daiwa. So it's a 7-foot rod. Sometimes the longer the rod, the better it is. The more, when you're fighting that fish, you're gonna enjoy it a whole lot better. Now, this is one of the rods that I use. Now, here, this is a Shimano. I may be biased, but I believe that Shimano is the best fishing brand there is. The best. better than Penn, better than Fluger. I mean, and I hear RX Angler, he's talking about Daiwa. He's been talking about Daiwa a lot. And I wouldn't put it past him that Daiwa is doing really well. Okay? But Shimano, you can't beat it. These guys, they really, really know how to make fishing reels. And the thing is, it's not that you make a high quality fishing reel and you make a low quality fishing reel. Shimano, sometimes their low quality reels are better than somebody else's high quality reels. Okay, this one right here, if I'm not mistaken, $20 at Academy. $20. If you're looking for a good reel, look for this one right here. Shimano. Look at that. Black and gold. It's the C3000. Shimano. The C3000 FX. This is perfect. It's not too big, like if you're going to fish off the surf. And it's not too small where it won't handle taking out a bull red. This is perfect. Perfect right here. Super smooth. Okay. So, and this is a Smash. I believe it's 6'8", if I'm not mistaken. This rod came with a loose spinning reel, and I used to rave about loose. Rave. I love loose. Why? Because their technology, as far as especially bait cast. When I had a loose bait cast, man, I would fling that, and it would slow down. The spool would slow down as the bait would hit the water, and you wouldn't get a bird's nest. You wouldn't get a backlash. I loved it. I love that part. Excuse me. Now, terrible on their bearings. No good. They messed up. They would, instead of going forward, the reverse would, it's just horrible. I'm like, why are you gonna make a reel and then have this work out really well for you? That it's smart, that it doesn't, there's no bird's nest, and then on the bearings you would goof on that. I just don't see it, So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm looking at the weather, and they say that the max winds for Saturday are about 17. Okay. I can't go into detail. I can't see the details as far as hour per hour on Saturday, right? But it says max 17. I'm hoping that max 17 is later in the day, right? I'm hoping that the day starts out 4 mile an hour, 5 mile an hour winds, and that later the wind starts to pick up. So if that's the case, I'm crossing my fingers. I want to head out to Arroyo City. Not on the boat. Okay, not on the boat. Not yet. I want to head out to Arroyo City on my kayak the way, I did it before. So it's a lot closer than Port Mansfield. There is that $10 charge to go in. And the good thing is, I park the truck, unload everything, get everything in order, and head out. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do this. I am going to, and I got my fishing poles, like I said, I fixed them up, detailed them, so they're ready. And I'm going to tote the kayak. Okay, I'm going to tote it. I'm going to get to a certain spot, right? Get to a certain spot, and I will be flinging the lure. Okay, probably these lures right here. I'm gonna be flinging those. There won't be any live shrimp. That's unfortunate. No live shrimp. Something has to give. I'm gonna be making that expense to go over there. I have to pay the entrance fee. So that price of shrimp is gonna have to, take a back seat. Is that gonna be the cause of me not catching anything? But once again, those are the plans. I'm gonna keep an eye on that weather. And once again, Port Mansfield, I tried it, and I'm not gonna go again this weekend. So that's the route where I'm looking at, Arroyo City. Okay, and I'm gonna be tossing the line and walking, tossing the line on the shore and walking. If I see, because I've done it before, where I take the kayak out and throw the line, right, with my other fishing poles. But sometimes, what do you catch? Catfish. Because you're fishing off the canal. But since I'm working the shoreline, casting parallel to it, that's where I may have some of the success of hitting the trout, hitting the flounder, or the redfish. So that's the plan, guys. So that concludes today's episode, guys. Thank you for joining me today. I recently put some videos up on detailing a spinning reel and detailing and taking it apart and putting it together. A spinning reel and a bait caster. If you have a reel that you've been meaning to take apart, watch that video. Maybe you can watch the video and have it right there in front of you, where I take something apart, you take something apart, and pause it. And you need WD-40, and I put some in there, you put it. And do it step by step. And then maybe rewind, that type of thing. It is a tutorial. I also did a video, anglers, on a trolling motor for your kayak. It's not a bad investment. Not a very bad investment. But like I was telling one of my followers, is it a lot of responsibility when you put a motor on the kayak. You don't want to get too far. You don't want to go to a place where you don't know, especially away from the shore, away from town. When it comes to that, I don't do that. I don't want to go a distance where I'm going to be so far away from town that if something happens, I have to flag somebody down. I have to, call the Coast Guard to come for me. I don't want to do those things. So what do? I try to stay as close to shore as possible. Now, I wasn't recording it. I was not gonna record me struggling paddling back all the way to shore. But one of my little batteries gave out on one trip, and I was really stranded. I could see the shore, and I've been there many times. That's it. I wasn't moving. There was no wind. The little wind that there was, the little current that there was, it wasn't pushing me to shore. That's for sure. So I had to paddle back. I finally made it. And I was wiped out. I was exhausted. So just be careful. And then there's that video of where I talk about my friend's kayak flipping over. I didn't wanna. Wait a second, friend. Tony, wait a second. Don't drown on me yet. Take out the camera. No. I had already put the camera down. I had already put it away. I had already done my closure. What was I gonna do? Go ahead and wait. Let me put my camera on, press record. No, no, I didn't want to do that. No. So just, that's why I always, once again, I beat it to death. I always practice safety, and I want you guys to practice safety as well. But yeah, if you want to get a trolling motor, you know, get one. You're going to be leaving all that energy that you're saving on paddling on catching the fish. So I won't extend this video too long. Guys, if you are new to the channel, if this is your first time, second time, third time, and you haven't subscribed, please help anglers out. We're at 218 subscribers. Please subscribe to the channel. Click on the like button and share. If you haven't seen some of my earlier videos, which are more, oh, this is what happened, or this is what's happening. They're more reports than videos. So go ahead and check those out. I'm going to leave you from far Texas, and hopefully next time I see you guys, we'll be in Arroyo City. We'll be on the kayak, and we'll be landing the fish. Preferably red, preferably trout, and if anything else, we'll get some flounder in there. Okay? Until next time, from far Texas, Anglers 48 signing off.